Yeah, interesting picture from the paper Israel Hayom. Asking question, סוף למשבר? Is the end to the crisis? Putin and Zelensky will meet in Paris. Definitely this is a while. But let us see what the Torah, which is the blueprint of creation, it was used already 800 years ago in Ubachye to know the secret of the birth of the moon and many other things. Because the blueprint of the Torah tells you everything. So let us say what the blueprint of the Torah, in the Torah itself, tells us about possibility of solution to this terrible war, fightings, so much bloodshed. So let us see. It is in Hebrew, but few words, and I will try to explain to you properly what you see. The first thing I was looking for best meeting of the word Russia, very small, but I think very small skip, Russia, and Ukraine, which is Ukraine, and Pitaron solution. So, looking for this, seeing these words coming, best meeting of Russia and Ukraine and solution, Pitaron, amazed phenomena when I see that all what you see, more words we see, appear in one book, Genesis, Aleph is Genesis, and even in one chapter, 41, from verse 11 to 51. 40 verses contain all these very important and relevant verse. So let us see really what is the message here, what we can learn from here. So, what can be solution to this war between Russia and Ukraine? So, the answer comes here, an amazing phenomena. Torah, the Torah, laws of the Torah, which are also for Gentiles. The most severe one are, which are not kept, which Biden and Obama allows. This is homosexuality and abortion. The flood came because of this. As God is what is written, that 40 days was the rain which brought to the flood. Why 40 days? Because fetus, embryo, after 40 days already has a shape, as meaning, and God was very angry, full of wrath, because they caused him to create creatures and to destroy them after 40 days. So God said, from now on, okay, I will not bring you a flood of water which are going to destroy the world, but in future, we have flood of fire, a flood of plagues. So the most interesting is really the appearing of this, because anybody who knows a little bit more of Hebrew, in fact, you have here the same skip. By the way, the skip is 86. 86 is the gematria of Elohim. Elohim, the God name Elohim represents judgment. And Elohim come to 86, 1, 3, 5, 15, and 26. So clearly telling us that this situation that we have today between Russia and Ukraine is lots of anger from heaven. So the solution is Torah. And the red is the Hebrew word fear of God. And in fact, in Gematria, this Irat, fear, is the same thing like Torah, 611. Our rabbis tell us because it goes together. God created the world that the world will fear him. This is what Solomon said in the end of the book of Skeleton. He said, Elohim Asa, God did the creation. Sheiru lefanav, the people will be afraid of him, because there is a God. And you, James, have to keep 7 laws, and you, Joseph, have to keep 613. And if not, see what is going on. So amazing comes this. In fact, it is interesting that the Hebrew word bria, creation, has the same letter like be'ira, for fear. So amazingly, so what we have to learn, what brings to Pitaron, to the solution, keeping the Torah, and fear of God. It is unfortunately that today the Western world, Biden or Obama, allow the most severe sins, abortion and homosexuality, which bring destruction. And this is really why we understand that really Putin is very afraid that this Western culture, which is full of immorality, of really things against the Torah, will spoil the people, the Ukraine, the people who really still Russian, as it is not tradition, is against these things. They will not allow abortion and homosexuality. So the Western culture very dangerous. It brought destruction to the world. It can bring destruction because those are the sins, the most severe ones, abortion, which made God very angry because it is against the goal of creation. The goal of creation is to be fruitful, to bring, and they are doing now destroying the seed, destroying the power. So, no doubt, you see. So, what is so interesting in this table that it appears in the story of Joseph. And if you know the story of Joseph, yeah, he was Jewish. And he was basically the ruler of Egypt economically. He based the economy of Egypt. He helped a lot Pharaoh in the economy and everything at that time. No, exactly today it is unbelievable phenomena that you have a Jewish person who is really the leader, the president of Ukraine, which slaughtered and killed so many Jews brutally, so brutal, frighteningly, hundreds of Jews were slaughtered and killed by Ukraine, who helped the Nazis. Unbelievable. Now, they have a Jewish person. No doubt that Zelensky helped a lot for the economy. 73% voted for him, and no doubt that what he did was really very, very good, important thing for the country. No, exactly like Joseph. So, important phenomena that exactly Joseph, all the story of Joseph come here, Yehudi, Jewish. So definitely this is also part of the phenomenon of the Messiah. You have your Edom, Edom which is Russia, Ukraine, all those nations to do with Edom, and in the beginning also the crusade, Christianity, Nazis, Germany killed, Nazis, but you see in Germany now, everything's changed. The attitude to Israel, completely different. The same thing Russia, Putin, loves Torah, he supports yeshivot and synagogues, gives a lot of money, gives respect to rabbis. Clearly known, very friendly with the chief rabbi of Russia, Nazar. Why? This is exactly the change that the Torah tells us. The Torah tells us like Esau in the beginning wanted to kill his brother Jacob, but afterwards, with Jacob met the angel of Esau, so he said to him, yeah, the blessings belong to you. And we agree that the chosen one is Jacob, amazing. Respected. The same thing today is also exactly happening. And this is exactly what Donald Trump represents. Because really, he is Edom, the president of America, which is Edom, and his attitude to Israel was completely different than the others, He recognized Jerusalem, the settlements, he allowed Jews, he made this agreement, Abraham called. So, no doubt that all this shows a great change in the attitude of Edom to Israel. And everything what you see is unbelievable, exactly telling you. Solution, Russia and Ukraine, Torah, Iran. Yeah, listen what the Torah tells us. Especially that we are now very close to the Messiah. We are now in sabbatical year. And our rabbi said us that sabbatical year in the beginning of it, lot of wars will take place. But in the end, Messiah will come. Amazing. And here you have the Messiah HaMashiach, and Messiah, son of Joseph, son of David. Unbelievable. You have son of Ben Ishai, son of Jesse. An interesting Yehudi. Yeah. It was a Jewish president. Unbelievable. And all this was exactly like the story of Joseph. But the story of Joseph indicates according to Kabbalah to the future. And here you have Putin, yeah, because in the Torah letters, like vowels, Putin you can write with 3 dots instead of the letter Vav. So the letters are very important in Hebrew. And the Putin comes here, yeah, with Russia. And hoping there will be peace is the purpose, yeah. It's written that Torah brings peace. Kol Netivotei Shalom, always we sing it on Shabbat. All the ways of the Torah is to bring peace to the world. No, this only when we keep Jesus. But what we can do when Jews don't keep the Torah? Gentiles don't keep the 7 laws. And you see what is going on, the troubles. But to have all these verses in one book, and not only this, only in one chapter, and in 40 verses, far away from being coincidence. We said already many times that this program I'm using is Dr. Rothenberg. He himself, scientist, came from Russia, like Professor Rips. Professor Rips showed him the phenomena of the cause. He checked it properly. Scientific, said, really clear proof that Torah is a blueprint of creation from heaven. He became Orthodox Jew. He also did a book which is called All Is Truth about the Bible Code. Unbelievable. So as I said, a very significant table as having those Ukraine, Russia, Putin solution, and very interesting. It comes mamash in a straight way, and the skip is 86, Din, Elohim, unbelievable, because 86. Also in the in the skip of the letters also is important teaching, and this teaching to tell you that if one doesn't keep the Torah, not afraid of God, not keeping the Shabbos, or the commandments, especially men and women, yeah, this is the most severe ones, then troubles comes. God is cause, Elohim, Elohim. So, as I said, the amazing phenomena that all of this comes in the story with Joseph was ruling one country, the Egyptian, exactly like Zelensky, also leading Ukraine. This Ukraine was so anti-Semite from before, no? Maybe now is a sign things have changed. Like the attitude of Adam of Russia changed completely from one side to the other. Interesting story. My book, I wrote a book about the Hebrew letters of fire. So at that time, Stalin, the Russians, at that time, they did not allow to Jews to read anything to do with Judaism. So they confiscate all books so at that time there were Jewish people, businessmen, who went to Russia. So they used to take books, Judaism to give. So they took my book, Letters of Fire, and they gave to people. Now today, my book are translated to Russian and are printed in Moscow. Another amazing change. This is what he said. You can see here what was the attitude in the past to Jews and now Putin. So let us hope that the world will realize that only by keeping the Torah, the world will carry on properly, no problems. Jews should keep their Shabbos 613, which they have been fulfilled now, and the Gentiles, the 7 laws. And you can see you see that they said clearly it was a survey that more than 60% say that if Donald Trump would carry on being the president of the States, we will not have the problems that we have now today with Biden and this. And clearly, as you say, the reason because Donald Trump was very particular about also Western culture and so on. It means no homosexualism, not one man wedding, not one homosexual. So this is a blessing, but what can we do? The Satan is strong Democrat in Gimata Satan. So judgment came. This is what unfortunately Biden, din. In Biden you have the word din, judgment. You see now also the agreement is also going to come with Iran, very dangerous to Israel. So interesting and important, significant table, hoping that will bring solution to this terrible war between Ukraine and Russia. So much blood shed. Nothing will come out. So what will be? It will be 100,000 killed, but nothing will change. So interesting and important table in which you can see clearly what will be the peron, the solution to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, between Putin. So interesting, significant table for our time.